Stag's airships have been hooked and tethered. We're reeling him in.
Good. Get in there, find Stag, and interrogate him. And Lieutenant, I'm assigning you an extra unit for guard duty.
Who are we guarding?
Scarecrow. Boss wants to come aboard.
It could be any one of those whack jobs that Matt banged up in Arkham. I mean, who doesn't want Batman dead? Come in, Control. We have rioters on Miyakami Island. Falcon 5 out. Scott don't stand a chance against all these tanks.
We have the location of an APC, sir. The militia lieutenants are ramping up protection. It will be easier.
You're gonna be rough, Batman!
Another one of the militia lieutenants out of the picture.
I don't want to find out what Scarecrow's got planned next. Used to fighting street punks. He's never faced trained soldiers like us before. Batman just hit a Serpent drone.
Above them, Batman. But what happens when their idol falls from his pedestal in front of their eyes?
Hello, hello, good evening. How are? I've still got a little bit of a cough, so you need to bear with me. But yeah, we're back. I had quite a good time doing some maths last night, especially stuff that's a bit, for lack of a better term, high caliber than the kind of stuff that I get up to in my job. So it's nice because I mean, even at uni, when I was still studying, I would get together with like some math classmates or some, well, yeah, fellow students who were also doing maths, and they and we would just get together and do a bunch of math on a whiteboard. It was pretty nerdy, but it was quite a bit of fun. The one thing about that though is you can't really do that all day, as fun as that sounds to me in concept, just because your brain gets really fuzzy and you burn out pretty quick. That's why these streams are probably gonna only be like, you know, an hour or so or 2 hours long. Maybe one day I'll do a bit of like a hybrid stream and do some gaming. But it's funny, as I've gotten older, I'm not really enjoying games as much as I used to. So I don't know. And when I do play them, I really enjoy just the solitude of it, or just the I can't think of the words for it, but I like playing them just for myself, for me, kind of deal. But we'll see. You never know what can happen. There's plenty of games that I enjoy. I've been getting into Dark Souls. Well, when I say getting into Dark Souls, I mean a year ago today. Well, not exactly today. Well, I wonder when it was. How long ago did I start playing properly? Oh yeah, it was about a year ago. Yeah. About a year and a week ago. Or rather, the other way around. So, in a week from now, it would have been a year since I started playing Dark Souls. And that was a very special interest for me for a while. That was, you know, those who, some of my mates would know that I was playing that all the time. But then I started playing Dark Souls 2, then I got busy, it fell off, and so now I'm at kind of a point where I've played through most of the game, and now I'm at the final boss fight, and like all the momentum is gone. And that sense of drive that you normally get when you play a Souls game just isn't really there. So hopefully that desktop volume, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. But anyway, so maybe it'll be Dark Souls at some point, but I think if I was to stream Dark Souls, it would be DS3. Just because I've already kind of dealt with DS1. It's fully completed too, got all the achievements, no stresses. Yeah. But anyway, we'll figure it out. I'm not really too fussed. I've actually been kind of just enjoying, once again, like I said last night, just kind of talking into the void, so to speak. But had a decent turnout last night, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I think this will just be an evening kind of relaxed thing with some jazz, some motivational images, which, you know, have helped me. And just doing some maths together. Hopefully we can build on that in future, and, you know, keep going with calc, and maybe go into, I'd like to go into maybe linear algebra next, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's a while away yet, I expect. But anyway, moving on. All right. There we go. So starting off with one I was thinking about yesterday is that if f is a function, then if f is a function, then f of s plus t is equal to f of s plus f of t. And I can think of a significant counterexample to this. Anything involving powers, I imagine, would probably debunk it, would be my guess. So let's go ahead and try that out on for size, shall we? So let's say let f of x be equal to e of x. Then, by that implication, we would have that f of s is equal to e of s, and f of t is equal to e of t. This is not a Spielberg reference. Spielberg did e t, yeah, he did. Then of course f of s plus t would be equal to e s plus t, and evidently e of s plus t is not equal to e of s plus e of t. In almost all cases, right? And I think there's a great example of, I mean, unless both s and t are equal to 0. And that, even then, that's not true. So there's, as far as I know, there's not a case where that actually stands to be true. Nope, there's not. For all s and t in some arbitrary field, doesn't really matter. So we can say, therefore, it is not the case that f of s plus t is not always the case. I'm sure there's situations where that does apply, probably in a linear relationship. Is f of s plus f of t. By counterexample. Easy peasy. That wasn't too bad. Alright, if f of s is equal to f of t, then s is equal to t. This is kind of what we were building on yesterday in terms of injectivity, right? So let's go ahead and do a counterexample. That's the best way to disprove stuff, right? So let s equal, hang on, let f of x be equal to x squared. Let s is equal to -5 and t is equal to +5. Then indeed, f of s is equal to f of t equals 25. However, s is not equal to t, so we have disproven the claim. Nice. Nice, easy proof. It's not the most elegant. But you know what? It gets the job done. Alright, sorry guys, still having to clear my throat with all the sickness going around. We're breezing through these. This might end up being a short stream. If f is a function, then f of 3x is equal to 3 times f of x. I'm going to try and use e of x again, because I feel like the power properties kind of allow us to be a bit, for lack of a better word, expository. That sounds very like an expose into this proof not being true. Sounds very dramatic. Just going to take a sip of my trusty Coke here. That's what all methods really quick because I'm forgetting it. Injectivity diff. If f of a equals f of b, then a is equal to b. Oh yeah, just the contrapositive of what I've written there. Yep, nice. Maybe the original would be more helpful though. If f of a is equal to f of b, then a is equal to b. Equivalent. I'm just going to write the equivalence. Equivalently, f of a is equal to f of b, then a is equal to b. I actually prefer that. Building on that. Man, that saxophone's gone pretty nuts. Calm down, buddy. Calm down. You're not in Whiplash. Okay. This music is making me want to smoke, though. I don't even smoke. Let's say if f of a is equal to k, then f inverse f of a equals f inverse k. So a is equal to the f inverse of k. Is only true when f is injective. Wait, which way around is it? So x squared is not the case because it can take two inputs. And there does not exist a b in the field such that b is not equal to a and f of negative 1 of k is equal to b. I feel like I'm really overcomplicating this. I just can't articulate my thoughts right. So I'm just going to say false. I don't know how to articulate that any better. A vertical line intersects the graph of a function at most once. It mentions the word function, and so, yeah, by definition of a function, any vertical line that passes through the curve that the function generates will only do so once. That's not too bad, right? It's pretty straightforward. Okay. if f and g are functions, then f of g is equal to g of f. Well, I just know that's going to be blatantly false. Let's try... yeah, let's let f of x be equal to sine of x, and let g of x be equal to e of x. Then f of g is equal to f of g of x, which is equal to f of e of x, which is equal to sine of e of x. And we can see where this is going pretty fast. And g of f is equal to g of f of x, which is equal to g of sine of x, which is equal to e sine of x. Clearly, it's meant to be a comma, so I don't know where that whole squiggle came from. So clearly, sine of e of x is not equal to e of sine x. I expect for the vast majority of x values, because sine of 0 yeah, no, I mean, I don't think there's any situation that satisfies that, right? None that I can think of anyway. Probably something super obscure. Is there a mathematical notation to say not all x? I don't think. I'm gonna be bold and say for all x in the field. If f is injective, then the inverse of f is equal to 1 over f of x. That's a very interesting claim, isn't it? I feel like that's not true. Because if we... well, hang on, sine x isn't injective. I was going to use sine as an example. Oh no! That's not true! What? We can use the most trivial example. Let f of x be equal to x. F negative 1 of y equals x. So y is equal to... hang on. Hang on, what am I doing? How do I do the inverse again? We've got y is equal to x. Oh, I mean... yeah, that's the most... yeah, so f... the inverse of f is also that, right? But then 1 over f of x is equal to 1 over x. Yeah, not then, it's and. So clearly untrue. I was worried about that one, so I was like, oh gosh, how am I going to prove that? I have to work around all these little rules with injectivity and things, and now it's going to be a total disaster. But it wasn't. It's pretty obvious, so thankfully we can use a trivial example to help us with that. So, nice. No issues. You can always divide by e of x. My gut is yes. I'm gonna try this on Desmos just in case. I might share it with you. So if we do like 1 over e to the x, I don't think there's a single case where we've got like something undefined. Right? Correct. Let's humor it. So e of x is equal to 0. Suppose then the logarithm of both sides, and you can't have logarithm of 0, can you? Yeah, it's undefined. Since ln of 0 is undefined, there does not exist at x such that e of x is equal to 0. Therefore, you can always divide by ex for all x in the field. That's not too bad. Okay. If 0 is less than a is less than b, then the logarithm of a is less than the logarithm of b. I was going to introduce another condition where like I put epsilon into the equality, but then that would be setting like, that would be letting a be an upper bound. I don't think that's a good idea, because that seems a bit too cheeky. Well, I'm going to state something really obvious. I thought it was equivalent, but it isn't. But it is an implication. If 0 is less than a is less than b, then a is less than b. The reason I can't turn that into an implication is we can't say if a is less than b, then 0 is less than a is less than b, because we didn't. Because a in that instance could be negative. So that would be not true, but this implication is true. We're just kind of like taking a smaller piece out of it. Then if a is less than b, it is also true ln of a is less than ln of b. Right? Like, if I'm looking at, again, a graph, of logarithm of x, if I choose some x1 on here, or if I choose some, if I choose some x1 and some x2, then it's always going to be the case that it's an increasing function, right? So yeah, I mean it increases very, very slowly, but it's still true. Yeah. Yeah. Easy. If x is greater than 0, then ln of x to the power of 6. Hang on, let me just rephrase that with a bit of a pause. Ln of x to the power of 6. There we go, that kind of implies that the whole thing's been raised to the power of 6 rather than just x. Equals 6 ln of x. Right off the bat, I'm kind of noticing this isn't true. I mean, if the 6 was part of the argument, then yeah, we could bring it to the front because of log rules, but lucky us, it isn't the case. I mean, ln of x is just, ln of x to the power of 6 is just ln of x times ln of x times ln of x and so on and so forth, right? And I'm pretty sure. Hang on, what does that create? What does that build? Build being not the best terminology. Oh yeah. Oh, come on, dude. Really? Come on. All right. No, that's not what I want. Ln of x times ln of x. Whoa! Very interesting. And if I go to like log rules, yeah, nothing for it really, is there? What is 1x times 1x? Yeah, I mean, there's there's nothing really fancy we can do as far as I can tell. Yeah, because I mean, this would just be yeah, 6 ln of x is just equal to ln of x to the power of 6. For that in brackets, just for the sake of notation. But ln of x to the power of 6 is not equal to ln of x to the power of 6 because we don't know what the x is. Sorry about being quiet. I was having a think about it. Like, is there anything algebraic that I can do? Like maybe divide both sides by 6? Not really. I wonder what it says on Desmos. What happens if we have that? If we have ln of x power of 6. Woo! And obviously ln of 6 is a bit different. Is that the same thing as... Now that's frustrating to me. Why is that different? I mean, okay. Oh yeah, okay, I'm convinced. It's because that generates something positive, and so we can actually take negative values. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm not satisfied with that yet. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. And this could just be like throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? Let's see what sticks. So this is the same thing as 6 ln of x is equal to ln x to the power of 6, which is the same thing as saying ln of x. Let's just say suppose. Then ln of x is equal to ln of x to the power of 6 over 6, which is also, I'm being a bit cheeky, but it's equal to ln x to the power of 6 over ln of e to the power of 6. Which again looks wrong, so I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not convinced by this at all. But again, log rules don't really let us do anything with this, right? I always forget them, but like, for instance, no, because it's all outside of the argument. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, if you're starting with like x is equal to x, and you take the log of both sides, and you raise them both to the power of 6, and that's a fundamentally different thing that you're doing, right? You're doing, this is a case of function composition, right? Like we're saying that if f of x is equal to x to the power of 6, then g of x is equal to the logarithm of x, then we're saying that f of g is equal to g of f of x, which is equal to ln of x to the power of 6, and then g of f is equal to f of g of x, which is equal to, well, as we know, ln of x to the power of 6. And as we proved before, these two are very seldom equal to each other, right? Very seldom. And so there's no way we can just claim that those two are equal. But I'm not sure if I'm satisfied by that proof. We could always use an example. I mean, yeah. Counterexample. Let x be equal to e, then ln e to the power of 6 is just 1, whereas 6 ln of x would be equal to 6. Yeah, so therefore false. I should have gone back to counterexamples to start with. That was the goal. That was the idea. Why do I forget that? Whenever you want to do a counterexample, whenever you want to disprove something, use a counterexample. Trust me, works 9 out of 10 times. The problem is when you have a question and you can't find a counterexample, because everything seems to just fucking work somehow. It's really annoying. But I mean, typically if you go back to your basics like 0, 1, and E, or just, there's typically something cheeky going on. If x is greater than 0 and a is greater than 1, then ln of x over ln of a is equal to ln of x over a. Again, wildly unconvinced. Just because of the log rules we covered before. I mean, ln of x over a is equal to ln of x minus ln of a. And so we're making the claim that ln of x over ln of a is equal to ln of x minus ln of a. which I expect just isn't true. Because, yeah, I mean, if we set like x equal to 1, and a equal 2, just for the sake of it. Actually, let's... I wonder if anything interesting happens if we set it to e. Then we have 0 over 1 equals 0 minus 1, which is obviously untrue. Right? Like, there's no way. Yeah. Alright, tan inverse of negative 1 is equal to 3 pi over 4. So, this is making the claim is an equivalent statement from memory to tan of 3 pi over 4 is equal to negative 1. And then our domain in question. What's our domain? Tangent is negative pi over 2, y pi over 2. Okay. So I'm calling bullshit. Negative 1 is right, but that's true, because then we would have pi over equal to tan of negative pi over 4, which is equal to negative 1. So yeah, it's true? Question mark? That seems a bit too easy. Almost too easy. Hey, what do I know? I think I've got this one last question, right? Yeah. Oh no, 2 more. Tan inverse x is equal to sine negative 1 of x. Let's try x being equal to 1, right? That's a nice, tan inverse of 1 is nice, right? That's just going to be pi over 4. Let x be equal to 1. Then tan inverse of 1, as we know to be pi over 4. Sine inverse of 1. That's not going to be nice, because that's opposite over hypotenuse. So that's going to be pi. No, pi over 2, right? Oh yeah, that makes sense given the periodicity of the sine graph. Yeah, I'm on board. And then cosine of negative 1. Cosine of positive 1 rather is also pi. No, it isn't. That doesn't make any sense. It'll be 0. Why does that geometrically make sense? That's the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Why does that make sense? Oh yeah, because there's not really adjacent of hypotenuse. Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. That's 0. Let me just verify that because I'm not. It is 9:27 p.m. on a Thursday night. I'm not sure if I fully trust that to myself, so I'm just going to verify it. Cosine of 1 is 0. And for the observant among you, you might notice that our denominator is cosine inverse x. So we can just go ahead and put an uh-oh right there because we're going to end up dividing by 0. The claim is untrue since a substitution of x equals 1, which is a remarkably trivial substitution, yields an error. Unbalanced error, I'm going to say, because we've got something reasonable on the left-hand side. So hang on, we'll do the old contradiction sign, shall we? Alright, for all x in R, x squared is equal to x. And I've been thinking about this one today as well, because I can't think of a counterexample of this. Let me plug into Desmos and see if we can spot any issues. So, square root of x squared. Oh! Why is that the case? Oh, yeah, I mean... Though, that's not very good convention, is it? Because that's... Although, if we're treating it as... Square root isn't the function, is it? Well, not conventionally speaking. Because what I was thinking of, like... You know, if we take the square root of 25, then... we would get plus minus 5. Why does it not show that on Desmos? Because negative 5 should be a solution to that as well. Huh. Why does it not show that on Desmos? Why can't we accept negative 5? I suppose then because if it were to be invertible, then we'd end up like going outside of the domain. Or the range rather. That's probably why it doesn't work, would be my guess. So yeah, that makes sense that the graph would look like the absolute value. Suppose x is equal to negative 5, then obviously x squared would be 25, and then x would be 5. I'm not fully convinced by that. Because I feel like we should still be doing, you know, the plus minus thing. Why are we not doing that? That's my question. Oh well. A problem for another day, I think. Untrue. Did we have any trues tonight? False. True? We did have some trues. False. True. True. I like how it just oscillates between true, false, clearly untrue, clearly true. I think that's amusing. That I didn't even say anything there. I just kind of put an unequal sign so that's false. True. False. 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 And false. So kind of a heavier skew on falses there. But that's what it's all about, man. That's what we're doing today. We're disproving. It seems like we've done a pretty good job of it. But yeah, that's where we're going to wrap up. If I'm feeling up to it, I might do some more tomorrow or later on. Moving on to some more review questions, which is going to be wrapping up the functions and models stuff. So that's going to be more... I hesitate to use the word computational, but something like that. Something like that. But thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. That's been some maths with Dan. And yeah, take it easy, gang. Toodles.